Good morning. I used to struggle with procrastination constantly. And so, what I'd like to do, because so many of the people I know around me either struggle with it themselves or know somebody that struggles with it and they don't really know what's going on or how to help them, I'd like to give just a really brief understanding of what procrastination is most of the time, almost all the time, and then secondly, what to do about it. And actually, this comes from a conversation I had with a group of people just a few days ago, where they asked, we were talking about procrastination and I was giving some help to them, but then lastly, somebody asked me a really good question that I didn't answer very well. And I'm going to answer that a lot better here this morning. So really quickly, what causes procrastination? Where does procrastination come from? Usually it comes from one of three different things, okay? The first thing is we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. So for example, somebody says, well, you should invest your money, grow your wealth, save money on taxes and hand wealth to your children. Somebody says something like that and you go, oh yeah, that would be great. But I don't know I don't even know how to get started. What do I invest in? How do I invest? How do I start accounts? I don't know what to do. Or somebody says invest in real estate or you should whatever, and we don't know what to do. That's the first reason people procrastinate. So procrastination is we get frustrated with something, so we kind of avoid it often. Often that's what it is. Second reason why people procrastinate, second main reason, is that we don't know how to do something. So we know what to do. Yes, if I invest in real estate, I will grow my wealth, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know, who do I talk to? How do I place my money in something? It's very similar to the first question, okay? But the first one is more general. The second one is more specific. The second one is, yes, I know I need to lose weight. I know I need to lose weight, but I don't have the skills involved, okay? So the first one is lack of knowledge. The second one is lack of skills. And these two can be fixed fairly simply. The first one, if you don't have knowledge about something, go to YouTube, go to read books. There's so much free and inexpensive information out there. Now, that will get you past the first hump. Often it doesn't get you past the second one. To develop a skill set is a little bit different. Usually we need to train under somebody. So this can be that you find a mentor, you find a coach, maybe you work as an employee under somebody who knows what they're doing and you learn your trade, or you understand how to do something. With real estate, I often recommend to people, if you're doing your first deal and you don't know what you're doing, instead of doing it all on your own, invest with somebody else. Invest with somebody you trust. Invest with somebody who knows what they're doing and learn from them. Make that part of the contract. Listen, I'm gonna hand over some of my money to invest, but I want you to teach me on the job. This is something I often recommend to people, because now you've got free mentorship, free coaching on some level, okay? And you can learn the ins and outs of the deal. The third major reason reason that people procrastinate is that there's some emotional connection, usually fear or something associated with fear, that has been attached to something along the way. So for me, when I was growing up and throughout high school and even in university, I struggled with writing papers. I loved researching papers. I loved I love reading, but I hated writing the papers. There was something blocking me, and I would do all this research, way more than the average person around me, and then I wouldn't actually write the paper, even though writing the paper was fairly simple after all that. Some people, again, struggle in other areas, so they know they want to lose weight. They know how to lose weight. They've got certain skills. They've developed certain skills, and then they just don't do it. There's something blocking them. I had a conversation with somebody years ago about money, and they weren't taking action to grow their wealth or make more money. And what they said to me was, Mark, I'm terrified that if I start making more money, I won't be generous with my time or my money any longer. So if we've got that belief about money, or that belief about weight, or that it's going to be hard, or whatever it is, if we've got a belief that terrifies us or scares us on some level, we generally don't do something. Now, the question, or how do we fix that? So this is the third. I told you I'd try to give you action steps for each one of these. The third one is a little more complex. Usually we need a lot of introspection. Usually we need a lot of action to start working on something, usually what I recommend for that third one is to take some small action. If you just need to write the paper, if that's what Mark needs to do in university, then what I'd recommend to that Mark 15 years ago or 20 years ago or whenever it was, listen, just take 5 minutes and create an outline. Just start for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you need to work out, if you need to do something with diet, then do something that takes less than 5 minutes. Usually it's very simple and easy to do something for 5 minutes or less. And if we just start the process, usually that's enough to continue momentum. I can tell you how many times I've told a client, hey, do this for 5 minutes and then call me back and tell me that you've done it. And they don't call me back and I go, what happened? And they say, oh, well, I started it and I thought I might as well continue while I'm on a roll. And so I did it for an hour. I did it for half an hour. And that's often what happens. You simply have to start. And to start, usually you make it so simple, so small that you're going to do something. Okay. Now, here's the question that the person that somebody asked me on Monday. They asked me, Mark, what about procrastination when it's related to a priority? Where I have a priority that I actually don't really like, or there's something going on with that priority. That's why I procrastinate. And what I told this individual was, well, if it's not a priority, forget about it. If you don't want it and it's not a priority, then forget about it. And this is a problem. The reason there's a problem in the way I answered it was because if something's not a priority, there's different reasons for it not being a priority. If it's not a priority and it should not be a priority, then yeah, forget about it. Don't worry about procrastinating on it. Just take it off your plate. Stop telling you that you should do it. On the other hand, if there's something that should be a priority in our life, if there's something that will help lead towards our goals, if there's something that will help us in life in some way, and we're not procrastinating, we're not doing it because it's not a priority for us, then what we need to do is change something in our heads. We need to change our beliefs about that again. So it's very similar to number 3, okay? The third reason why we procrastinate. If there's some emotional reason, if there's some belief that's missing there, we need to change that. I'm going to give you a really quick example again. I blew a disc in my back when I was about 30 years old. Completely blew it. I wasn't able to walk. I wasn't able to move. I wasn't able to crawl. I wasn't able to sit or lay down or do anything in a comfortable way. And I was laid out for quite a while. And it was excruciating pain. But what I did was I rehabilitated my back. I worked really hard on my back. Before that back problem, I would have procrastinated on stretching and certain basic exercise. I loved playing sports, but doing just exercise for the sake of exercise was meaningless to me. So I procrastinated on that. I had a belief that it was frustrating or annoying or boring. As soon as I did something to my back, my belief changed. My belief was now, oh, if I do this, I will be able to play with my kids. This is around the time of the birth of my daughter, just after she was born. And I went, I'm terrified because I'm not going to be able to play with my daughter, spend time with my daughter. And because that belief changed in my head, now I saw exercise and stretching that was mundane before. I saw it as this is an opportunity to do something. That changed my belief. As soon as I changed my belief, I started doing things in a different way. I'll give you another example. Some people say, well, I don't like getting up in the morning. I'm an evening person. I'm not a morning person. And I say, well, if you want, listen, you don't have to be a morning person. You don't have to be. But if that leads towards your goals, if it's a priority that you should have as a priority, if it's something that will help you, then change your belief about that. And the way you can change your belief about that is start spending time with people that are early risers, that are really successful in the way that you want to be successful, or exercise in the way that you want to exercise, or read biographies of people that get up early and have a lot of success. Start changing your mindset about that. And as you start to change your mind about that, over time, you can change your beliefs through repetition. You will begin to see it in a different light. I do a whole bunch of crazy things. Now, I have crazy cold baths where it's 12 degrees and I sit in there for 5 minutes or more. And most people go, that's nuts, Mark, or cold showers. And I used to think that was like, why would I do that? Now I see it as a benefit. I see a lot of inflammation leave my body. And for me, that's a value. So for me, it's become a priority. I've made it a priority. So if you have something that's not a priority and you're procrastinating on, and it doesn't need to be a priority, just forget it. Go easy on yourself. If you want it to be a priority, start changing your mindset, start changing your belief system. And you can do that through spending time with other people. You can do that through, again, reading things in different ways. Basically, if you repeat something enough to yourself, you begin to believe it. So if you begin to say, this is important for these reasons, and you explore that and you focus on it, you will start to see things in a different way. And you'll get up early or have cold baths or do whatever you need to be doing according to your goals. I hope that's helpful. Feel free to give me feedback. Feel free to ask me any questions about this. I love when I get questions from you guys. And I enjoy interacting with you on that level. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend coming up.